This video tutorial will cover some of the more advanced options available when entering a purchase order. If you need to see the basic options available, please refer to the video for entering a basic purchase order. Some of the additional information for more complicated orders that can be added to a purchase order are special pricing, vendor remarks, split shipments, or multi-vendor orders. I'm going to start this where I left off on the basic purchase order tutorial so that we already have some stuff filled out for us. Inside the line item, there's a couple additional features that you can use. The first I'd like to show you is in tab number 4, which is special pricing. Special pricing is any additional flat fees that are incurred from the same vendor that you have in tab number 2. Some common special prices are artwork charges, plate charges, screen charges, anything that's going to be just a single charge for the whole job and is a flat fee no matter the quantity. Clicking on the Add button brings up the special product window. You can change the product group. It'll automatically change the description. Once you find a suitable product group, though, you can change the pricing description to be anything you want. So if you have a setup charge as the product group, you can easily change this if your vendor calls it a plate charge. Although it does let you do a different vendor here, we do request that you use the same vendor you have in tab number 2. Or if it is a different vendor, it should either be a separate line item or a multi-vendor within this line item. Special prices can have both a cost and a sell. So if you have a setup charge that is $10 cost, you can sell it for $15. And that will show up as a line item on the invoice underneath the main line item. Click on the printable button and it will print on your purchase order as well. And then you can save the special price. You can add as many special prices as you need to. It will also total up your special prices on tab 1 and show you a grand total price and a grand total margin as well as the profit. The next feature that can be used is a split shipment. This is if you want your vendor to handle a distribution if you're sending to more than one location from the vendor. Here you click your Add button, and depending on how many quantity you had in tab 1 is how many quantities you can send to each location. So if I have multiple ship tos, I can put a slash and hit enter. Pulls up my ship to options. I have 2 ship tos. So for my first ship to, I can decide that I want to send of my quantity 5 that I have, and that's 5,000s. I can send 2 of these to ship to number 1. And then I can send 3 to the other ship to. It will only allow me to enter as many as I have in the first tab. So if I try to enter 4 here, it tells me the ship to quantity is out of the range. So I change this back to 3, and now I have all 5 quantities going somewhere. If you leave any quantity left, so if I had entered 2 for both of these and I had 1 left, it would automatically send that one to the default ship to I have on the main screen. The next tab is your instructions tab. These are instructions for your vendor. This is a paragraph style format, so you can type as many notes as you need to. The next tab is the multi-vendor tab. This is if you have more than one vendor working on this single line item. A very common example of a multi-vendor order are shirts. Whether they be embroidered or screen printed, you're generally going to order the shirt from one place and have it decorated at a second vendor. Your multi-vendor should always be the first vendor to touch the job, and your main vendor should always be the last vendor to touch the job. So for our screen printing example, our multi-vendor would be a Sanmar or an Alpha, and then the main vendor would be your screen printer or embroiderer. To add a multi-vendor, click on the Add button, and it will pull up the window for your multi-vendor. Key in your vendor ID, or if you, as usual, if you don't know it, you can key in the vendor's name, and in this case it just happened to be also the vendor ID. Here you'll notice that you only have information for a cost. That's because your sell price should be a bundled sell price for both vendors. After you enter your cost per unit, you can save the order. You can also add additional instructions that would go to this vendor here in this tab. And as we see in tab number 2, the multi-vendor's purchase order is automatically going to print that it's going to ship to our main vendor. That's the reason why we want to have our first vendor as the multi-vendor and then our last vendor as the main vendor. Once again, if you have any billing notes that need to go to the ampersand group, they go in the billing notes tab. Some other additional information you may want to send to your vendor is also in the vendor tab, and this is a previous job number or a manufacturer quote number. This information can also just go in tab number 6 in the instructions tab, which will both print directly on your purchase order. Once you're finished, you can save the order. Thank you for watching this video tutorial. If you have any questions, please contact the Ampersand Group support team by emailing support@theampersandgroup.com or calling 330-379-0044.